Hi guys, how is everybody? I hope everyone is well as can be. So today, right now, this particular video is a little bit of a different vibe. And, I got my trusty handy dandy notebook. My Blues Clues handy dandy notebook. So yeah, I definitely wrote this video out before I started, so I'm definitely going to have to be referencing it because I didn't want to leave anything out. But today's video is going to be about twin flames. So I know, especially if you watch tarot, you have heard the phrase used, twin flame. Some readers believe in it, some readers do not. I absolutely do. And so, and I see it recurring in a lot of the readings that I do for people. So I was like, you know what better time than now to discuss that. Well, actually, I kind of been saying it for a long time. Spirit's like, okay, do it, right? So I feel like they blocking some other things until I get it done. Look, 111 on the clock right now. Whatever. I'm doing it. So, I wanted to talk to you guys about what exactly a twin flame is, because everybody's like, oh, I'm a twin flame. I want my twin flame. Child, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not as simple as a soulmate connection. How do you know that? One, because it's meant to help you grow, right? And a lot of us don't want to do the work that is required for us to grow and to ascend spiritually. So I promise you, when you are not in that energy of trying to better yourself for real, yeah, it's not the connection that you want. But anyway, so let's talk about it, what it is and what's the purpose of it. So simply put, a twin flame is a connection between a couple, a pair of people. It could be same sex, it could be opposite sex. When I say sex, I mean, gender. But literally, it's someone who is thought to be the person's other half, right? But it's not like you complete me kind of energy. It's not like that soulmate energy that we think of. It is literally the other half, like, of a person's soul that was split into at incarnation, right? It's like you and this person are one, right? And this you could go a long time until you meet this person and not even know that that's the connection. Or you could have met this person and not realize that that was the type of connection that it was, right? So these people naturally have like a super intense connection, a familiar and usually mirrored soul connection, right? When I say mirrored, they may have grown up similarly, similar situations with their parents, with their family dynamics, etc. I got a good example of that, but I'll speak on that in a minute. But anyway, it's a mirrored soul connection, okay? And this connection acts as a catalyst for growth in each other's lives, okay? So it's not just like, oh, we're going to have this fabulous romance. No, something in me is going to trigger something in you or vice versa. And there's usually a separation, etc. that prompts us to dig in, prompts you to dig in and look for the meaning, the things that you are lacking, and how to improve those things, right? It is not as simple as a soulmate connection, right? So anyway, it's a little more intense because it is one soul instead of the two souls that pair well together in a soulmate connection, right? It is one. So it's literally like someone who is you almost. So this is not someone that you would intentionally hurt or that would intentionally hurt you. It's like looking at yourself in the mirror, and not that you guys look alike, even though oftentimes they do. They have similar features, similar facial features, etc. And I feel like that comes with soulmate territory as well. But with that twin flame energy, it's just a different connection of unconditional love. 444 on the clock right now. So twin flames are not all destined to be together. They are not going to all come into union in this lifetime or for a lifetime even. Whether they come into union and stay is very much so dependent on the couple, how they do the work, if they do the work to improve in order to be together. Because typically people who are not on the same vibrational energy cannot be together, especially if one is spiritual and the other is not. And yeah, everybody has their spirit guides, right, that we're born with. My angel guides, all of those people. So those people, my A-team, that's what I call mine. But everybody has that. And so they all want the best for you as an individual, right? So my angels, my spirit guides, especially now that I am so connected and so grounded and so connected to them and their guidance and my intuition, etc., they're not going to let me be with a bum. You know what I'm saying? They'll block that connection in a heartbeat, right? But some of those things, some of those bad relationships you have to go through so that you can learn certain lessons that you need to learn. But anyway, twin flame connections help the pair to identify their insecurities, their fears, and kind of highlight areas that need to be grown or to grow. So when both parties are ready for the type of growth, that type of growth, like, it can be really intense and it can be a really incredible pairing if both parties do the work when they do come back together. But please believe, as fulfilling as it has the potential to be, it can also be, like I said, is equally as challenging, okay? Usually it's so intense, like it is what creates that runner-chaser dynamic. And I'm going to explain more about that in just a moment. But when people believe that they are, quote-unquote, meant to be with someone, they tend to be even more tolerant and even more long-suffering. You probably have heard me say even strong emotion like clouds my intuition. So I don't like to do readings when I'm feeling super emotional about the person that I'm reading about or the situation that I'm reading about, even if it's positive or negative, right? But in terms of a relationship, it's the same thing. You might find yourself accepting things that you wouldn't normally let other people get away with. And I'm having such a hard time looking at this camera because I keep seeing angel number 722 on the clock. That's about partnerships, spiritual partnerships, okay? But anyway, so yeah, it's a really intense connection, right? And a connection of forgiveness. And this is not like, okay, I'm just going to let this person keep dogging me. It's not that. It's not like that. It's not like that. We'll continue to explain. But twin flame connections are also characterized by that push-pull dynamic, right? So there's usually like a runner and a chaser. But it's not just for fun, like a fun run. So it's like if you are with this person or you develop a connection with this person, as that happy phase kind of begins to settle down, one of you may realize, whoa, like they feel so strongly about the connection or so passionately drawn to this connection and this person that it freaks them out. It makes them realize, dang, I don't have what they have. I'm not as confident as they are. I don't deserve this love. She deserves better than me, or he deserves better than me. So then one of them will try to detach as a result of those insecurities that are surfacing. It's going to cause someone to try to avoid the connection, to either abandon the connection or to sabotage the connection. So you may just cheat randomly, even though you're so happy in this connection. I'm laughing, y'all, because that was my experience. You may cheat randomly. You may do other stupid stuff to sabotage the connection, hoping this person won't be long-suffering. But this is where your shadow work begins. Because, again, this is connected to your own insecurities, right? So this is where your shadow work can begin, or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, you probably won't ever come back into union long-term. You may have some contact with this person where you talk to them. But y'all being together, if you guys don't start doing the shadow work, it probably won't come to pass in this lifetime. And that's okay. But you may start to question why or what is it about me that I need to change that keeps happening, or for this to keep happening. in order to avoid being lost in a future connection. These are questions that may come up as a result of this abandonment, this avoidance energy, right? So most people don't want to dig that deep, right? Because then it's going to reveal to you like, damn, do I actually have an abandonment issue? And in order to look at that, you have to go back into your childhood. You have to look at your connections with your parents. You have to look at if one was absent or not. Why do I attach so strongly to these connections? Why do I have a fear of someone leaving me? Why do I have a fear of something being too good to be true? Why am I not confident? Why am I so defined by this relationship? All of these things are inner child wounds that crumbling or destabilized twin flame connection can bring up for you, okay? So, like I said, that could include addressing your relationship patterns, addressing your self-love or lack thereof, your confidence, your self-esteem, your energy of codependence. It can really end up being like a whole little rabbit hole, but the result is going to be growth and evolution for you. So many twin flames also tend to reunite at some point, but it's not normally an overnight thing. It could literally take years. Not everybody, but literally it could take years. It just depends on the growth of each individual, okay? And some connections, like I said, may never reunite nor should they, because the connection could be so toxic, right? Thankfully, that has not been my experience, where it's that toxic, right? Where we couldn't be together in the future. But anyway, so separation may occur for several reasons. One of the people may not be ready on an emotional or spiritual level. Like I said, because there's that deep connection, and that intensity is going to cause somebody to run. That intensity of unconditional love plus setting healthy boundaries is going to be different from any other connection that you've had. 1155 on the clock. I'm going to have to stop looking at the clock. Also, there just may be like more growth needed as an individual to come back and relate in a healthier way to the connection. I wanted to say something there. Yeah, like I said, we're not vibrationally matched. We need to do some things differently, and to learn from one, gonna learn from the other, right? This could also be an energy of lack of self-love. Like you may be, look, this is what I was talking about. You might be wanting to look for someone to complete you. And the twin flame connection is not going to be about, oh, they complete me. No, it's going to be about being a complete and whole, healthy individual before you can come together in this type of union. This is an absolute divine partnership. And then also, like I said, emotional or spiritually immature is going to cause this person to run. And then sometimes the connections won't come together because you've already learned what you needed to from the connection for now, right? It may resurface. There may be something else like, okay, this would be the perfect, your guides say, okay, this would be the perfect connection to bring this lesson home for this person, right? So anyway, there's definitely a need for you to focus and prioritize yourself if you are trying to make this relationship work or a connection like this manifest or come together. And it's definitely not an energy that you can rush through. Like, okay, I'm going back to get my twin flame because I'm better now. No, if you have not done the work, your guides know this. So there may be, okay, a reconnection, but for whatever reason, again, the same thing happens and the cycle repeats itself. That means somebody else is still needing to, one of you two are still needing to do the work. Because again, different vibes will not be allowed to reunite, not in a situation, a romantic connection like this. So there's something that you need to do in regards to being by yourself. You definitely have to learn to be okay with being solo, right? You wish them well. You hope they are well. You hope they are growing and learning. Send them love and light, and you live your freaking life, okay? You don't get caught up in waiting on this person, putting your life on hold, hoping they come back. Definitely, you can save a space in your heart for them. You don't have to unlove anybody. You know what I'm saying? But their absence is not breaking you, right? It's not causing stagnancy in your life because you're holding on, waiting on somebody else. That's not healthy, right? You definitely have to accept your emotions and your attachment to it. So if it's like, it's so intense, like obviously they cannot love me. Why would they love me? this way, right? If you're feeling like that, then there's a sense of low self-worth, right? Why would you not deserve this type of amazing love, right? So if one of you is feeling that way, that's going to have to be addressed as well. And this is not really something that couples talk about, you know, especially in this dynamic. It's the runner and the chaser. So definitely an energy of somebody just disappearing. Like, I didn't know how to explain to you how shook this energy had me. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely likely to happen. You also have to do your shadow work, like I said, and you have to avoid trying to fill the void of their absence with a replacement connection. So that's like, there's this song I was thinking about when I wrote this. I don't even remember the name of it, because when I started really listening to the words, I used to love it. I wore it out too. When I started listening to the lyrics, I was like, oh, hell no, I don't want to sing that. Where she said, get over them by getting under me. It was a jam. But, and that's what I feel like society teaches us, right? How do you move on from one person? You get with somebody else. No, you don't. Because then you're just taking your wounds into the next relationship and you're not healing. And if this is the connection that you ultimately want, you just prolonged it because you just took your damages on to the next relationship. That's going to repeat the cycle, except now you're attached to a false twin flame instead of doing the work so that you can be attached to your actual twin flame. So that's a really bad idea. So you definitely cannot skip that part. When I say you can't skip it, you can't skip it. You can't fake shadow work, right? But yeah, so that's an energy of not being able to fill that void with a replacement connection. But you have to find your happiness, what makes you happy, what fulfills you as an individual, and then choose to nourish your other relationships, your family connections, your relationships with your parents, your relationships with your children. Focus on those things, the ones that you know, love, and support you, because there's going to be some healing that comes with that as well. Because especially as you do some looking back at your childhood, there may be some things that come up that create a bit of resentment in you. You kind of have to purge that energy as well and start to view other connections from a place of compassion. Like, this person did for me at that time what they could because this is what they knew, right? This was their personal experience. And so people can't give you what they don't have at the end of the day, right? So it's definitely a lot of energy and work there. I don't want to make this video too long. I don't feel like I look like I wrote a lot, but I don't feel like it's that long. So let's talk about a reunion. So in order to reunite, you definitely have to be aware of repeating patterns and behaviors. So if you are to reconnect with your twin flame and you realize that this connection is we're going to make this connection work. We both now have an understanding of the strength, of the passion, of the glue, the type of connection that this is. When you feel yourself being like in that energy of this can't be real, then you need to be expressing that so that you can notice that behavior. So when you decide, or when you're contemplating running, backing out of the situation, there's a need for that to be addressed. Like, why am I 18 right now? Why am I thinking of that? What is it about me right now and where I'm at in my life that doesn't feel that I deserve this? That doesn't feel that we could make this work, right? So, trust me, and it's the same energy when people cheat on you in connections without telling you that they don't want to be with you anymore. So, what is it that had you so afraid of conflict, so afraid of speaking your truth, that you just went and did that behind my back instead of being man enough to speak your truth and let me make my own decision to leave or to tell you to go? You know what I'm saying? So it's like they want to avoid confrontation. You can't go into a healthy relationship in that way. You also can't go into a healthy relationship and you're overly passive, right? Where everything goes. You can't go into this type of relationship and you're overly controlling, because you have to understand that this is a whole individual, right? The relationship, the union of you two is a bonus. It's a reward. But at the end of the day, you guys are both individuals with healthy boundaries in a healthy connection. So that's what I'm saying. Like, people don't want to do this shit. People don't want to do the work. And yes, it can be traumatic because that runner-chaser thing. But once you have an understanding of it, there's definitely a way to be more compassionate. But also, you still have to honor yourself and the choices that you make as an individual for what you choose to allow, right? So if you reunite, definitely be aware of those repeating patterns showing up and behavior showing up. It's definitely likely that you and this person will separate multiple times, especially if this is something that both parties aren't aware of, if they aren't aware of the dynamic of this connection, right? So definitely a need for you to trust your intuition in the reunion here, to communicate openly and honestly in the reunion, to try not to change or control one another in this connection. So if you have one of you guys who is used to being in a relationship where you have been controlling and you tell everybody what to do, right? It is going to be that in this connection, a healthy connection, that's not what we're doing, right? That's not what we're doing. So you're going to have to learn to surrender to that, surrender that energy as well. And that's a word that I haven't used, but this whole relationship is about that process of surrender. Again, also definitely being complete as an individual. So all of these things, when they come together for you, it's a good sign that you are up for a reunion. Not to mention angel numbers, signs, messages, symbols, omens. Definitely be aware of those things as your angels try to guide you towards an understanding that this connection is about to return, right? And understand also that even if you're in a twin flame connection, not all of these twin flame connections are meant to last for a lifetime. Some of them are just for you to do the work, for you to grow through the situation, for you to be friends forever. And maybe you're going to end up with a soulmate instead of with your twin flame, right? You have to be open to that. Also, you know, some twin flame connections, one has passed away and one is still alive, right? So they won't be reconnected in this lifetime, right? So this is something that's going to come up for them again in their reincarnated energy. If you don't believe in that, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I can just tell you what I know right there. Anyway, so I do feel like I'm kind of torn on this one. I do feel like everybody has a twin flame, like I said, but not all of them are going to be incarnated at the same time because, yeah, some of them die. Some of them, there's a huge age difference. I say huge. I mean, like, you know, years in between. So 6, 7 years after, then they're older than you or younger than you. That could happen as well. We will not all achieve twin flame union. So don't make that a goal like, I'm going to find my twin flame. No, when you are ready, Spirit going to drop it in your lap, right? Even if it's someone that you already know and that you've already met, it's like quite likely that something will happen randomly, seemingly randomly. Nothing's random. Seemingly randomly that brings you two back together. It could be meeting or running into this person at a reunion of some sort, right? So then it's like, okay, so what is the purpose of this connection? I feel like this is to set an example for other relationships, to be a positive influence on loving, unconditionally loving relationships, learning to rise above, like that energy of rivalry and conflict and egotism in a relationship, and to kind of integrate, to build something that stands the test of time, right? This is definitely about taking responsibility and reclaiming your personal power, learning not to fear being alone, fear solitude, and to become a conscious teacher to others. So this relationship does indeed serve a divine purpose and a divine mission. And so it's everybody ain't a teacher, right? Everybody ain't a positive example. So you could be in a healthy relationship and that's not your mission to share that connection with the world. That's just your perk in this lifetime, right? So it just depends. And then I asked Spirit, why, because I pulled cards on these part, because I was like, well, I need to know, what the heck? Because I hear people saying a false twin flame, right? So it's someone that you may have thought this is the type of connection that you had. So it's like, what is the point of a false twin flame? It's one, to teach you discernment, to teach you or to help you to recognize self-deception, because 2424. To teach you, to help you recognize self-deception, how you maybe romanticize a connection, how you place certain people on a pedestal even when they don't deserve that type of energy or response from you, how to recognize snakes in your life, how to open your eyes to possibilities in love, and to recognize when you're being redirected or you need to redirect your energy. Okay. What is this? Hold on. Oh, okay. Yeah. And so also twin flame connections, there are soulmate partnerships, because oftentimes in a twin flame connection, both of you people may have somebody else. And it's like, well, I thought this is a partner that I wanted to be with. And you may feel like, okay, all of a sudden I feel pulled to reach out to this person. Or I can't stop thinking about this person. I keep hearing this person's name. Or I hear this person in music, or I recognize this person on shows, and like all this stuff. Like you just can't get this person out of your head. It may well be that you're in a toxic connection that you need to be redirected from. So for some reason, Spirit is placing this person in your mind, in your brain, in your head, so that you can really take a look at the situation that you're currently in, right? So if you are with somebody where you have lost sight of your values, maybe you have chosen to accumulate wealth over working on heart connections and those types of relationships and following your heart. If you have developed a fear of moving out of your comfort zones, if you have failed to plan for the future, all of these different things are things that can contribute to you being trapped in a false twin flame connection. Because you be done gave all your time and your energy, and it's like, well, what was the point of me getting so close and building this connection with this person who turned out to ultimately be a snake? Well, that was for your lesson. That was for your growth. 2626 on the clock. That was for your growth. That was for you to be able to grow and recognize what ain't true love, what ain't pure love, right? Because I see this in so many readings where people are like, but I thought this was my soulmate. But why did you think this was your soulmate? Was there ever a heart connection, or was this something that you made work? Did you accidentally get pregnant and then decide, okay, we're going to make this work? Turns out he's my soulmate. Probably didn't happen that way, right? Or was it like a situation where it's like, well, I got pregnant, but I might as well stay with him? Or someone, you start to see a characteristic in a person that doesn't match your heart. Like all of a sudden this person becomes only money motivated or only materialistic. And you realize, I don't like the character of the person that I'm with, right? So this person that I was thinking was my soulmate all this time does not even match my heart, right? So you have to get redirected from those types of things. But sometimes it takes you going through bad things for you to realize that, oh, we're not the same like I thought we were, right? And then that may be where your twin flame comes in to show you that intense energy, what it could be, right? So then that's probably going to be the start of your shadow work, because once you realize how intense it is, once somebody is going to run, okay? I have not seen or heard of both parties being ready from the jump, right? It is definitely an energy of growth. And so while people are wanting this twin flame connection, they want things to move and they want this connection so badly, it's difficult because change is difficult. Growth is difficult. Becoming and transforming who you were meant to be from a level of divinity, like how the divine sees you, not how you want people in the world to see you, how the divine sees you, how they see you in your true worth and your true heart. That's an adjustment, right? Because Spirit thinks so much more highly of us than we think of ourselves, right? We'll be throwing tantrums about the connection that we want so badly, not realizing you could do so much better than that connection, and you fighting for it. What is wrong? So then that's when that self-love comes into play. That's when that self-esteem, self-worth, self-value, self-confidence, those things come into play, right? Staying in the connection because you're scared to start over, because you think you're running out of time. All of those are things that would come up when a twin flame connection fails or fails to come together. So again, this is what David Arnold says, it's not for the weak, right? It is not for the weak. This is why I had a hard time believing that everyone has a twin flame, just because even on spiritual readings versus love readings, right? Most people want the love connection, but they don't want to hear about the spiritual growth, because that's going to cause them to have to do some work. I have people saying everything in my life is perfect except I don't have love. So why are you getting a love reading instead of getting a spiritual growth reading, so that you can see where you need to grow and change some things and how you function in connection to your relationships, right? So it's not something to enter into lightly. It is definitely a tough dynamic. And yeah, I feel like this was informative. I feel like I said everything that I initially set out to say. But if you have any questions, definitely send me an email or drop a comment below and let me know. And I'll try to answer it with Spirit's help, of course, to the best of my ability. And I'm going to post this right now. So I hope it was helpful. Bye-bye.